I just made this awesome video of Kaziranga National Park. Be sure to check it out on my YouTube. I just got done with some guest house breakfast, but that didn't fill me up, so I had to order a burger for a very cheap price in India. And I also come out with my new design of my backpack jewelry charms. Be sure to order them. And I am heading to Sikkim, one of my favorite places in India. Absolutely gorgeous. We're going to talk about the first and the oldest train in India. We're also going to discuss some zoos. But first,
protest.
so I'm here and gonna book a train ticket, and look at this. This is transgender for the... Well, I believe that was the first and the only time I ever seen the transgender on booking a ticket. But anyways, here's some funny memos. I also just want to say, in India, every single day you run into something new and exciting and out of this world experience, that's for sure. Another odd and out of this world experience or job is how Chelsea Clinton got a job working for booking.com. So then I try to look it up, and of course I don't want to put money into them type of people's hands. So I try to look it up, and what do you know? Booking.com is owned by all three of them, or all three major brands. I just took the pictures. You can rewind and see for yourself again, but Expedia, Booking, Priceline, Kayak, they're all the same company. It's like a miracle how these people even get these jobs. But anyways, on to the story here. Here's some pictures of the zoo. I'm going to talk about the train of Darjeeling. I believe I said that right. I also made a film about one of the first guys. His name is Subrat Tameng, I believe that's how you say it. He's the owner at Happy Valley Homestay in Darjeeling City. He was actually one of the first persons to climb Mount Everest from this area. And Darjeeling became a UNESCO site in 1999. The railway was the first in India now, because during the time of India's monarchy, through the British, the east side of India, which is Assam and Sikkim and this area that pretty much belonged to the Bengal people, was actually all kings at the time. There was no real monarchy here besides the kings, and that was probably one reason why British come to this area in the 1600s, which was known for Surat, which is all the way on the west side of India, thousands of kilometers from here. But in around 1600, the British come to Surat, formed a colony there, and then soon began to form colonies everywhere, and they annexed even Nepal area during the war time. It was after the Anglo-Gorkha War, which I'm pretty sure I said that wrong too. But anyways, in 1816, the Sugauli Treaty, which was passed through Nepal, that ceded 1/3 of its territory to the British, which is very, very sad. But if you don't know, British has controlled more than 25% of the landmass on the planet. Even I think today that America is controlled under Britain. Many people claim they're not, but I'm pretty sure that they are. Either way, in this area, British controlled the war, or created wars here, I should say, controlled the areas. If you don't know who who George Orwell is, well, you should read some of his books. He's got a very famous book out. I also have a very famous book, too, that I wrote, The Last Lost Legends. I appreciate it very much if you did say thank you or congrats, because it was an opportunity to do something really talented in my life that I didn't think that I could do. But regardless, George Orwell also wrote many books, and he was stationed in Myanmar. So you should read a little bit of history from him, because it's quite interesting how he begun all of his stories, how he foretold all of his stories, or how or why. You know, you should look up this kind of information. You shouldn't just follow the crowd like everyone else does. But anyways, the history of Darjeeling started very far back. Even your great person, where Dalai Lama, a lot of people want to appreciate this guy. I think he was a fraud. He was pure evil. And he basically worked under the Chinese government. He was also worked under the British government and worked under the so-called Indian government. So anyways, Britain launched 2 invasions into Tibet in 1888 and during 1903 and 1904, an attempt to build an exclusive colony in that region. It also tried to separate Tibet from China, and basically, I think for the past 100 more years, it's still kind of been doing that. I think finally China got a hold of it. But who knows? They're all kind of connected in their own way, really. So let's ask a simple question. Why? You should always ask why. But if you can't ask why, then ask the other W questions. What, or when, or where? Anyways, why did British come to this area, and why did they build a train, which is now very famous, called the toy train? The toy train is famous because it's very small. You've seen the little tiny road. It is a very small train. So you have to imagine, why is it small? Well, one reason it's small is because this area is very elevated up, and it's very mountainous, and the ranges are has a lot of valleys and streams, and it's coming right off the Himalayan mountains. So you can only just imagine the depths of the valleys and the curvature of the geographic area around here. So that's one reason why it's small. I also think it's small too because they were hauling what they say there, they were hauling tea. Okay, tea was very important, especially English tea back in the day was extremely important during this time. But I also think that they were hauling people too, migrating them from Tibet, or they were migrating the armies to the north. So let's continue with the show, with the zoo going on here. And I will try to explain a little bit more about the train and my philosophy on this. How smart they put the rocks in the road to get better grip for when the roads are icy. Okay, I'm back. Enough of the animals. You can see them while I talk. I think this story is much more appropriate and needs to be told. And let's just run back a little bit through history here. The very first train that they claim under Google, if you look it up, was in Punjab in 1912. And it was a British train that built it, that built the train also. The Great Indian Peninsula Railway, which basically was the train of Great Britain. But the really technically the oldest train to be here is in now Darjeeling, which is now part of India. And even as I said in my other video, the people of East India and even in north of India, like Kazakhstan, near that area, and Afghan, near around that area, I said Kazakhstan, but that's not correct. It's I meant to say Kashmir. In Kashmir and the east side of India, Sikkim area, Assam area, these people don't represent themselves as part of India at all. They've been fighting for hundreds of years and trying to keep their land to their families and to their own people. The funny thing about Punjab and Darjeeling, which is that both trains were set up in 1912, which is kind of miraculous because we're talking 100 years ago. I mean, and trains wasn't even established then. It would be much easier to take the train off of the ship and bring it close to what is called Punjab, or you can take it here to this area of Darjeeling, but we're talking in the mountains here, as to Punjab is more flat land. My intake on the whole operation was they did it like most corporations did, to hide things. They didn't want people knowing that there was a train in Darjeeling, or they didn't want the other people getting mad that why would Darjeeling, which isn't even part of India, be getting an established train system, and the rest of India is kind of left out to dry. I also think that the prime locations of both of these areas was to also divide the people, so it was easy to bring importing and exporting the goods out of there. Tea, or in Punjab area where you have the cotton plant, and cotton and tea was pretty vital at the time, especially 100 years ago. It's still being used to even today. So it divided the north and the south of the people, which I believe. Also, it was exporting and creating money, paying these people basically slave wages if they weren't slaves. So it divided the people. It also brought into this old monarchy a new generation of techniques or technical aspects of life, such as a train, because before they probably never even seen anything. So when people get all hyped up on new items in the world, they kind of tend to forget their old traditions and their old ways. So this is kind of my intake on it. Let's kind of just watch the rest of the movie. But I think all of it is very bad. If you want to learn more about history and how much I've learned about it through the Roman laws and what Rome still stands for today, then read my book, The Last Lost Legends. As you can see, walking through the streets here, many Asian faces. Well, it was pretty close to Tibet, and once Nepal and China and Tibet got all annexed and wars fought all through Britain, through the Roman laws, well, people get dispersed and get switched around and homes taken and jobs lost. But 100 years ago, even if you lost your job, you still could survive. It's not like today where no one knows how to farm or get water from a tree. But either way, back then, people lost their homes and went to wars fighting over their homes, went to wars fighting over their land or their animals. And another big thing that everyone mentions, of course, is religious wars. And one thing about the Hindu religion, which is not really a religion in my opinion anyways, because they only teach yourself how to better yourself and to better your community. It's almost nothing like the other religions, praising to this or praising to that, fake idols of this or fake idols of that. So the Hindu religion was huge in this community and around this area, geographically speaking. So with the train systems through Punjab and also the train system on the east side could also be another explanation of them kind of entrapping the Hindu religion and making the Muslim religion bigger, because the Muslim religion was extremely small. and only really valid in the Middle East. Besides that, the only valid, real accepted part on these so-called religions is through the scholars of Hinduism, which is basically the oldest scholars to actually write down something that was proven to be something, because Buddhism and Christianity and Muslim, most of them, well, I don't know about Christianity, but Muslim and Buddhism, they claim that their leader never wrote down not one single sentence. And in Muslim, they claim that Muhammad didn't even know how to read or write. So you take it from class action governments that install these plans to brainwash the people, because in all reality, the leaders never wrote it. They never have a script, a point of proof, or anything for any of this validation. The Hindu religion is very acceptable in culture to mandate our health, our benefits of our family, and of our communities. I don't think I'm supposed to be up here. Okay. Huh. At least that's cool. Got to go to the top. Well, that was cool, climbing to the top. I don't think I was supposed to go up there, but I did. This is the town, 1920 building over there, clock tower. Yeah, lovely little town. This is a typical Indian bus stop, and look at all these sinks here. You might be asking, what's so many sinks? Because I'm washing my hands, because we eat with our hands here. Okay, I show you. Look, everyone's eating with their hands, and then look at how busy this place is. And they get all these guys serve this food non-stop. Okay, you see, they serve all this food non-stop. Rice. Crazy how busy it is here. And see, we'll see how much it is. 160. 160. So that's like $7.2. You guys work hard. Yeah. Amazing that they knew exactly how much I ate, because I got a bowl of chicken there and some other things, but still cheap. I got like 2 whole meals for 160, so it's 70 rupees for $1. Yeah, still cheap. Well, at least I got to see the old steam train. Wow, look at this. Actually, this is the real one. Huh. Old steam train, huh? Cool. Oh, they have more over there. Wow, many. This must be the old cobblestone road. Very old buildings here. This looks like used to be a church. Huh. Hello, hello. So they put like a flour and an egg and then put some vegetables on it and make it into an egg roll. Good, 30 rupees.